So it's my last night here. I've been here for 8 nights now, and I've put together top 10, didn't mean to be 10, but that's just how many I wrote, a list of my observations about Reykjavik and its people. So the first is that the whole country seems to, like the countryside I mean, seems to be very monochromatic or only using a few colors. So you go to Black Sand Beach in the south of Iceland and it's just charcoal black and icy blue. Or you go to Gullfoss, and I went when it was snowing and it was just white and like bluer shades of white. And then before it snowed, when we were out doing the South Coast tour, all of the, I guess the landscape, it's very flat and you would just see olive green, maybe like a rusty brown, darker brown, gray skies. So very interesting. And almost to account for that, it seems that a lot of Reykjavik's houses are painted bright colors like bright blues, pinks, rainbow. So they really stand out from the landscape. My second point is that the city feels very safe. I'm backpacking alone here, which can sometimes be a little precarious, but I haven't felt unsafe once. And it's 5 hours of daylight here right now, so that's saying a lot because it's usually dark when I'm outside. And it always feels safe. There's always something going on. It's kind of like a 24-hour city in a weird way. Yeah. So the third is that the Icelanders like to party really, really hard. They drink like it's the end of the world and this is their last night to live it up. The clubs aren't really packed until 1 or 2 a.m. and they just like, there is crowds of people and they're a little bit like shovey, a little bit too many elbowing people, and it kind of seems like everyone's always moving but like going somewhere, not just dancing, which is a little bit like just chill. But that's how it is. Also, I saw a lot of sloppy Icelandic people. I mean, hey, we all like to have fun, but it was like particularly notable. I saw within 2 hours, I went to 2 different clubs and one outside. I saw 5 bottles break in that short span of time. And a lot of them were intentional or like jostling each other. Like one guy broke a bottle to like, as if it was a mic drop. He just stared at someone and was like, and it just smashed on the floor. No one cleaned it up. The bartenders didn't do anything and people just danced. It was in the middle of a dance floor. People just danced on the broken glass like, yeah, this happens a lot. Whatever. So that was strange. 4 is that they're really well groomed. The men here are very kind of, to generalize, are lumbersexuals, like Nordic lumbersexuals, if that makes sense. They all have the same beard, the same man bun, same sweater. So, I mean, just kind of like if IKEA and Canadian lumbersexuals had a baby, is what I'm getting. And the women are dressed very upscale, but also vintage and thrift store. Like there's a lot of thrifting and a lot of furs and sequins and that sort of thing. All of it in general has a very effortless, I just threw this on type of appeal and look to it, but that's something that would be really hard to cultivate, I think, if you intended it. So I don't know how they do it. 5, everybody hangs out with everyone. Pretty general statement, but like what they don't have a lot of cultural diversity, but they have a lot of age diversity within social groups that I've seen. So it's not uncommon to see a table of people where it's like a couple people in their 20s at the same table, some in their 40s, some in their 50s, and not like parents. Like that, like these weren't families that I was seeing. It was actual people like talking to each other, chatting each other up at the bar. So that was interesting. Also, a lot of the clubs have a diverse range of ages. There doesn't seem to be like, this is the 20-somethings club, this is the mature crowd. I went to 5 or 6 different like bars / clubs on the weekends here, and ranging from like grody underground basement bar to a more upscale cocktail lounge where I didn't buy anything. Don't think I have money. And all the time it was always like an age grouping of 20 to 50. So that was interesting. 6, books are everywhere. Literally wherever you turn, there's always some sort of a paperback in a corner or a stack of books, whether it's in the cafes, the clubs, the bars, the bathrooms. My hostel has books everywhere. Icelandic people love reading. They give books as presents. They publish a lot of their own Icelandic literature. I think the majority of people that try to publish are published, and the majority of the publishing happens during Christmas time. So everything is kind of literature themed right now, all the newspapers and everything. Actually, on that note, my hostel Kex is amazing because they have bookshelves everywhere and they literally have their own newspaper. I've never seen such a cool hostel. Like, they have a concert going on right now and their own newspaper, so pretty rad. And 7 is that they love their music. So right now there's a concert for Vuk at Kex, my hostel, downstairs, like 2 floors below me, and it is just like thumping. Now they're on intermission. I think it stopped conveniently as I said that. But yeah, so it's like everyone here plays an instrument, everyone's in a band. Icelandic people told me this. They're like, yeah, it's just everyone kind of picks up an instrument and is just into the scene because it's so cultivated here. I think it's also really easy to produce music and it's a great vibe. 8, there's no Starbucks. So I think that's because they have a very strong coffee culture. So there's a ton of independent coffee shops you can go to. And it's the same kind of deal as in Canada where it's just very chill. People stay there for hours, read books. There's books always everywhere. So people just pick up a book off the shelf and read it while they have a coffee. It's really, really nice. And 9 is that almost every store along the main drag is artisans or is like a tourist shop, yeah, but a lot of them are artisan stores, which is interesting because it seems like there's no starving artist cliche here. There's a ton of pottery barns, art galleries, and everything along the main strip, and they seem to support themselves really well, which is awesome. It's a very arts and culture city, which is great to see. And 10, it's Christmas town. I delivered that weirdly. It's a Christmas town. So there's lights strung everywhere. And apparently I talked to people that have been here in November, October, and September that are revisiting while I was here. And they were like, no, there were Christmas lights up like that. It isn't just this week. So there's Christmas lights on all the houses, like rimming the roof. And there's Christmas trees on every corner. Everywhere you look, there's a Christmas tree in your line of sight. A lot of them on roofs and stuff. It's strange, but I love it. Decorations, not menorahs, but like candle displays in the window, light up Santas, the whole 9 yards. But everything is vintage-y. Like there's no kind of blown up waving Santa Claus man at the front. Like everything is vintage cool without even trying. I don't know how they do it. It's a mystery. And it's kind of, Reykjavik kind of feels like how I would expect the North Pole to feel. I guess if Santa ate reindeer and the elves went out till 4 a.m. every night, and then it would be the North Pole. So really great to be here during the Christmas time, but I want to see it during the summer because right now it's very cold. There's like no trees anywhere, and so the wind is just like flat plains, and it's just the wind is blistering is the correct word to use to describe the wind here. Apparently there's an Icelandic joke where it's like someone goes missing in the Icelandic wilderness. How do you find them? And then I think the answer is wait for them to stand up, which implies that there's like nothing to hide behind. I was thinking that if you're on a road trip in Iceland, where do you go to the bathroom? Like in Canada, all of us at one point or another were driving the long drive to Muskoka, Barrie, whatever, and you're like, pull over, it's dark at night, you're like, pull over, I'm gonna go in that ditch, I'm gonna go in that bush or behind that tree. Literally, like, just no rocks, no trees, just mountains and flat plains. Like there is nowhere to hide, nowhere to You could probably get out of your car and like run straight into the distance for like 5-6 hours and you could still see like you as a little dot moving in the distance in the horizon because there is nowhere to hide. So maybe that's why all the bathrooms here have been free so far. Yay!